I wonder if the audio works. Who does? Poggy. What the fuck was that, man? Oh my god. The bot spamming in stream notif. Uh... We back. I'm not too sure what that was. Just what the fuck just happened. But we back now. Udah nyala Ron. Gotta tell my Bruda next door. Fix the bot. Didn't even know it was down. Oh, the bot was down? The fuck? Thank you. Bruder. Is that how you pronounce it? Bruder. Yeah, kinda not that much aggressive though. I wonder why. Hold up, let me buy some quota for my phone while the internet's still on. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. I think we're fully back. Hold up, yeah? Hold up. By Pakash. IG. Bada bing, bada boom. Bing bang, bada doom, boom. Boop, bop, boom, boom. Boom, bop, boom, boom. Is the audio just fine, by the way? Can you, like, hear the music and everything? Well, I assume you have. You can. Oh, Jesus. All right, cool. Mm. Hmm. Shitty internet do be shitty, man. It was such a chokehold, honestly. Everyone needs a fucking move, man. But then again, it's where do I move? Where do I even move? I feel like it's just like a fucking local internet issue. It's not even one place. Yo, what's up, Magma? Ah! You see my suggestion game? I haven't checked it out actually. I'll check it out later, yeah, after the drawing. But what is it about? Ah. Do, 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 do. Stickman jumping and dying getting through a level with Sid music. Oh, it's one of those like side-scrolling rhythm game, like platformer. That sounds fun. I'll check it out after this, yeah. Since we are looking for some new games to play, ever since we finished Metal Gear last night, like it would be fun to find a new one. Do you prefer mommy rat or daddy rat? Uh, 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 how about just rad? I don't know. I don't know about the mommy or rad, daddy. Although people at this point, I'm already used to people just calling me ratty daddy. I don't know who the fuck started it, but everyone started doing that. Already used to it at this point. Said Ken. I know, man. I know. New game, Overcooked. I have Overcooked, but it's on Epic. And yeah. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I think it's on Epic, yeah. One does not simply not refer to you in a non-parental way. Why? It's just so random. The Ratty Daddy I kind of understand because it's kind of rhythm. It's kind of what do you call it? Fuck. It's kind of rhyme, but but still, why? What the fuck? Hang on, the sentence makes no sense. Yeah, exactly. I understand either way. Hold up. We might have a confirmed game tonight. Oh. Baby, are you... Tetris check? What is Tetris check? Is that a game? Just Tetris? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Tetris, to be honest. I played it a lot, especially back in the day when when it was like still the cool game to play, but not so. My brain's not that good for Tetris. Sag. You saying Tetris is uncool right now? I mean, subjective. Subjective. You know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Are you eating though? Are you eating though? I'm feeling. Yeah, yeah, I'm winning. I'm winning. Yeah, yeah, I'm winning. I'm winning. Yeah, yeah, I'm winning. Cause I'm doing this better than you doing you. Don't be mad cause I'm doing better than you doing you. Don't be mad cause I'm doing me better than you doing you. Doing you. Where do you go to play Tetris nowadays? Other than that Nintendo Switch game, the Tetris 99? That's the only one that I know. I think there's another one on PlayStation. Online, yeah, motherfucker. I mean, like, I'm not talking about the web stuff. I'm talking like an actual software game. I'm actually surprised there's no like normal competitive Tetris stuff going on. You know? I'm gonna be oh. Haven't played Tetris since 2003. Jesus. They're like Smash Ultimate. Oh, so they kind of like play it like with the uh, older platform, older console. I guess that kind of makes sense. Better than you doing you. Mate. Ultimate. Yeah, Ultimate. Oh, Ultimate is Switch? I don't know, man. Oh, wait, Brawl is the old one. There we go. It's the GameCube one. I mixed it. Mixed it up. Melee is old. Is Melee and Brawl the same thing? Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Smash Bro. I don't know, man. Fuck. It's been a while. Ever heard of Brawl? Did I mix it up? No, yeah, Brawl is a thing. Oh, it's for the Wii version. There we go. It's the meh one. It's like the worst one. The one that no one's talked about. Oh. Bam. What you do? From the side. Hold up. No matter what you say or what you do. To 2005, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. No matter what you say or what you do. Oh no. There's a trial in the life. Hold up. Hold up. I'm not sure where I'm going with this. Hmm. Not sure where I'm going. In the balance. Give me in the balance, girl. Nobody other content. Kind of want to make her leaning a little bit. Hey, welcome back, Akila. Internet died it, man. The baddest, maybe the baddest girl. I actually have no idea what's caused the internet to drop suddenly. It was such an abrupt thingy. Okay, I need something a little bit hard today. Like your dad. Okay. Uh. Oh, I know, I know. Uh. Right. Um. Yeah. Dish, dish. Bam, 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 bam. Sitting here, realize you were just like me, all to the history. God, the final fight is so fun, honestly. I wish I can play it again. God damn. That's what I want to listen on a Monday morning. Yes, sir. Good morning, Kay. How you doing? Bam, 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 bam. Standing here, realize you just like me. Mister. Not doing well. Weekend was scuff and nothing went according to plan. Aw, that sucks, man. It happens. It is what it is. You know, it happens. Hopefully, it worked out for next weekend. Okay? Shit happened, bros. Shit happened. They do, yeah. It is what it is. Of nature. Almost sketch requests? Hell yeah, brother. Rules of nature. Oh shit. What's his name again? Sam. Blood. I have enough for one, but I don't know if you can draw him. Him who? Who? What are we talking about here, eh? You can consult first, I guess. It kind of depends. But yeah, I have like weakness in mechs, uh, mechas, anything like super high detail stuff like that. That's gotta be intense stuff. Not Max, not McDonald's. Mackies. This is Mackies. Oh my fucking ear. That scared me. I mean, I can always try. But again, ultimately, your point, your spending. It's up to you. No pressure, no pressure. Jigs, why are you still up? Oh my god. Are you planning to stay up until like nighttime? I don't know. It's like 10. It's almost midday for you, right? I would guess, I would suggest if you really want to, which I usually do as well when I fuck my sleep time so hard. That sounded weird. Um, I would like stay up until like usually 1 to 2 p.m. and then start to go like get drowsy a little bit. I would like take a nap for like 2 to 3 hours, like midday. Wake up before 3, before 4 p.m. usually, and then so that during the nighttime I will get super fucking tired and usually sleep like around 11 or midnight. Not really recommended, but that what works. What works for me. I want to use my own emotes on Twitch, but I don't have the fucking willpower to stream to get the goal. I mean, don't force yourself. I understand, but, you know, I mean, do what you want to do, you know? Do what you want to do. But don't make yourself feel like you have to do it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Mm. Ba-da-na-na-na-na. Jigs, if you want later, we can play some stuff. Oh my god. Mm. I think Jig's gone. Jigs! Wap, wow, wap. Da, 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 da. Ha! We can play some stuff if you want later. If you're up to it. You won't, if you won't. Ultra Steel. I mean, if you really want to do the, like, cause like right now, if you're gonna sleep right now, it's gonna be a little bit, yeah, you know what I mean. You're gonna wake up in the middle of the night. You know. Boom bow boom boom bow boom bow boom boom bow. Hitting goal live is hard. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you like, you know, you kind of want to like don't force yourself. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Because in the end, you know, streaming is kind of like about having fun. You know, like if you don't enjoy it, it's not gonna be fun. Essentially. So hit that like button if you feel like it. You know. Roses are red, your bowls are blue. Good one. What's up, Gara? How you doing? Roses are red, violets are blue. Gago, fuck you. Hey! Oh shit. I've been addicted to saying Gago so much. It's so fun to say. Streaming is for emotes, not fun. Have you tried it? Roses are red, both are blue. Yara is sniffing the glue. I don't sniff glue, I eat it. No wonder. Feels dang, man. What outfit did I want to put on her? I forgot. Oh, right. And no, don't say nothing. Uh. There will be blood. Oh my fuck. You want a latex suit? I think. Yeah. My latex drawing skill is not that good. I don't think I'm gonna try that. Not yet. Not yet. But then again, I never really practice on the fucking what's it called again? Latex. Okay, the song's getting everywhere. Smug! Smug! Smug, smug, smug! Smug, smug! These smuggers. No, not smut, smug. God damn it. Smug! Dude, this angle is so hard. Hold up. uh... I don't know why I drew this. Now I cannot find the right reference to, to draw this angle. I don't know. I don't know how does it look like. You know, I just have like a quick thing in my brain, but I'm not too sure how does it supposed to look like. Fuck. Okay, let me try to do bones. Let's try to do like something like an Evangelion plug suit. How about that? I think that would be cool. I think this would make sense because right now, it's almost look like she's wearing this push-up bra. Like if not, it would flops down. Yeah, that's right. I did my anatomy study. Actual artists. Wow. Actually studying and not cooming. Mm. Bum, bum, ba, da, ba. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, ba, ba. Ba, 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 da, ba. Oh! Oh my god, that's nasty. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Woo! my lord. That shit's hard, man. That shit's hard. Oh. That's alright. Dung 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 dung. Tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down. It all returns nothing. Returns to nothing. Down, down, let me know you down. Everything, everything that Dum 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 dum. Me inside turns to nothing. It all just tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down. It all returns to nothing. Tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down. All returns to nothing. Hey, hey, hey! It all feels tumbling down, tumbling down. Letting me down, letting me down, letting me die. Tumbling, tumbling. Yup. Ooh. Cheated by you since I don't know when. Hey, made up my mind, come to an end. Let me now. I don't know how. Suddenly lose control inside my soul. Looking, I can hear the bell ring. And one more look and I forget everything. What? Ooh, mamma mia. Here I go again. My. Ooh, mamma mia. My. Just how much I miss ya. Yeah, I've been broken hearted. Lose is the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia. Now I really know why I can never let you go. Oh my god. Things that you do. It is big vibe. Real and true. And go. And turn the door. How did you know? And taught me way too long. You don't know I'm not that strong. Swan looking at her near the bell ring. One more look and I forget everything. Whoa! Woo! Mamma mia! Here I go again, my. Mamma mia! My. Yeah, I've been broken hearted. Lose is the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia. Goodbye. Now or never. Mamma mia. Goodbye doesn't mean forever. Yeah, I've been broken hearted. The day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Oh, that's an emote? Vibe. Hey! Oh my god, that's so cute. What the fuck? A fucking bunny. We jamming out here. Oh wow. Bitty 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 wow. Wow. Bitty 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 bim. Bitty 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 bitty. That's a transition. Wait, why is it going back? You know what? Sure. And then I don't know why it goes back. Tell me now, will I ever learn? I don't know how. Lose control inside my soul. Just one look and I hear a bell ring, and one more look and I forget everything. Whoa, whoa, mamma mia, here I go again, my sister, mamma mia, go again, why? I missed ya, yeah, I've been broken hearted, lose is the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go, mamma mia? Why I can never let you go. About the things that you do. Mhm. You know I'm not that strong. Just one look and I can hear the bell ring. And one more look and I forget everything. Whoa, whoa. Whee! Whee, whee, whee. Yeah, I've been broken hearted. Lose is the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia. Yeah, I've been broken hearted. Lose to the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma mia. Why I can never let you go. Papa. Oh, I cannot finish this tonight. Costume itself is already so complicated. Oi, oi, oi. Live or two. Can take the 7 seas. Ah. So what's no reason to? Oh, fuck. Ooh. It is love. Feel that. Open to you. Oof, such a good song. Na, 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 na. Da, da, da. Hi. Can sail the 7 seas. There's no world, no reason to be. I promise to. Open to you. Vibe. This song is maximum vibe. Dun, dun, dun. To be million years. But it's love. Open to you. Okay, this is it's a lot harder than I thought. Shit. The slim fit design is very challenging. Doo-doo-doo. Why do I feel so tired today? Men? Hmm. Oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah. It's alright. Ah! Hold up. Ah. Ah. Jesus. Oh, my back, dude. Oh my god. What is this? Sounds like a game soundtrack. No, not game. Oh man, sounds familiar. This doesn't look good. I'm gonna delete this for now. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Hmm. Boom, 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 boom. Kommst du zur Tat again? Okay, too much, too much. Hmm. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, nope. The fuck was that? Is that dubstep? Is this Bakamitai? Oh, it is. Bakamitai. Kodomo. Oh, kita soga se waraenai egao miseta. Love you more ゆくに今は好きなのだけど踊ってるよなのになのにどうしてさよならが言えたのダメだねダメよダメなのよあんたが好きで好きすぎてどれだけ強いお酒でも止まわない思い出はバカみたいBlah. Dude, drawing this is almost the same thing as drawing mecha. Oh my god, my hand. 愛してる。ちょっと。Hmm. Ah. Oh my god. Wait, is Jigs still up? Jigs? I think it's out. Jigga! Yeah, I think it's out. No. Jigazu, auto! Hmm. Oh my god, sorry. Oh. Follow into the unknown. See whatever to feel. Let go. Who should set you free? Did you see Bolt Gun? What is that? That's like a weapon, but I assume you mean like a game called Bolt Gun? That's interesting. Based on the name, I assume it's an arena shooter. Or like a Doom style shooter. Old school shooter. Warhammer? Huh? I never heard of it. Can you link? I can check it out. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Official reveal trailer. Oh, it is an old school shooter though. Okay, I'm kind of done with this drawing for now. Not really. I kind of want to. It's kind of fun. Well, let's check it out real quick. Bolt Gun. Wait, I recognize that developer. Focus Indie? Okay, never mind, it's a publisher. What is this trailer? Jamie Stuff 1999. I thought this is like a fucking in-game. This is a fucking real. Okay. Interesting. 2023? That takes a while. I mean, okay. What? I did not expect that to. I thought it's gonna be like somewhere this year. I mean, sure, I guess. Space Marine 2 trailer. Yeah. That trailer is powerful. Not gonna lie. And it kind of brings nostalgia. That is a good trailer. That is a good trailer, not gonna lie. Pow. I've missed the react to game time. No, no, you can still link. I'm just kind of chilling right now. My hands kind of hurting from doing all this symmetrical outfit. It's not that. It's not as easy. It's not. Oh my god, it's so hard. My hand. My hand. My hand. Life would be dream. Life would be dream.
Me.
Oh my god. What? Veldus? With a 23 months? That is like 1 year minus 1 month? What? Why is it TTS said me? It's called... The TTS cannot say meow. Me. Yo, anyway, thank you so much. Appreciate it for the resub. How you doing, Veld? What's up, what's up? How you doing? How's it going? I'm okay, how about y'all? I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Kinda chill in here, not much going on. Not much, man, not much. Not much, mate, not much. Your buses are crazy. Huh? Buses? What? Huh? Huh? Oh, was this? Initiality. Okay, hold up. Let me gather some stuff. Oh my god, there's so many things about Diablo Immortal. Oh my god, what the fuck is this? Okay. Wait, I wanna check this real quick. What? Oh, this is kind of interesting.
Diablo Immortal, the free-to-play mobile.
Diablo Immortal. It's okay. This is kind of interesting. The the title basically says. Wait, hold up. Oh, this song's a jammer. Woo! Oh my god. I can't help myself. Oh my god. Can you guys hear that? Okay. So the title is Diablo Immortal Review Bombed Blizzard Predatory Pay-to-Win Loot Boxes and Microtransactions Discuss Player.
Diablo Immortal, the free-to-play mobile Diablo game that's also been ported over to PC, is pay-to-win, loot box-infested garbage. Who would have thought? And the worst part is that underneath it all is actually a very solid Diablo game whose endgame gameplay loop is completely ruined by its over-reliance on players having to pay to make reasonable progress. If you don't pay up, well,
I'm not gonna watch
you'll be stuck with insufferable grind that makes this game far from viable, which is why you're seeing a user Metacritic score of 1.7, well on its way to setting records when it comes to some of the worst user-rated games of all time, a specialty of Blizzard's as of late. And looking at the user reviews, you can see that there are plenty of complaints surrounding its pay-to-win elements. Predatory pay-to-win clone of Diablo 3. I wish I didn't have a phone now. Will cost thousands of dollars to hit max progression. Just gambling without payout. Complete pay-to-win crap. Blizzard is merely a husk of its former self. Thanks, Activision. Unfortunately, the Blizzard of old is long gone. Where games were made for games by gamers, this no longer exists. Instead, this is an executive cash cow dressed up as a game. There's some impressive merit for the sheer size and ambition for the game, but it's clear that to win at all, you need to spend money, and a lot of it. That's pretty much the gist of it, and making this all the more insulting is the fact that just a few days ago, back in May 30th, 2022, a developer from Blizzard, senior game designer Scott Burgess, said that Diablo Immortal strives to be a true Diablo experience, even as it breaks new ground. Scrolling down, you'll see that Burgess was asked about claims that this game could end up being pay-to-win. Elements of the game have caused them to raise the dreaded pay-to-win alarm. Burgess didn't address that point specifically, but said that the goal is to ensure the game is fun for everyone, regardless if a player is spending money or not. Well, that was a lie. Going back, I played the beta without spending $1. There were a few of us on the team that did that because we wanted to see what the experience was like, and I'll say that I was in a top dark house in the shadows. I kept up with World Paragon. I was competitive in PvP. I would often get the MVP ranking, so we're doing things to make sure the game is fun for everyone. Anytime we have a purchase, we want to make sure it's a good value.
Sure.
That's kind of the goal we have on that side. Well, you certainly failed miserably on all fronts. I don't know what version of the game the developers played that said, yeah, no, this is okay. Audiences are going to love this. This is going to be fun regardless of whether you pay or not. But it definitely wasn't the version that people are playing now. A major red flag was when 5 days ago was announced that Diablo Immortal would not be launching in certain regions, specifically Belgium and the Netherlands, two countries that immediately jumped on loot box regulation after EA pushed the goalpost way too far. It was announced that the game will not be releasing in Belgium or the Netherlands on launch due to laws in the countries regarding loot boxes. Over time, we did start seeing media outlets and
scared of Overwatch 2 now
giving their impressions. Stephen Totillo straight up just tweeted, can confirm that Diablo Immortal is indeed a mobile game. And you can see the screenshots that he took to show this, from the ability to purchase Eternal Orbs currencies and Platinum currencies, two separate premium currencies essentially, to being able to buy a variety of materials by purchasing the premium currency to spend on this stuff. You've got cosmetics that you can purchase from anywhere between $15 to $25. And finally, you've got Eternal Legendary Crest. This is where the loot box aspect comes in. So let me explain. Website Den of Geek released this article, Diablo Immortal Microtransactions Explained. Is it a pay-to-win game? That breaks down the whole monetization system of this game pretty well. So let's read through this and eventually...
Okay, I don't even like... I mean... Is anyone even surprised? Right? I don't know, man. I feel like I don't know. Probably a lot of people, especially the Diablo 3 fans, the one that still plays Diablo 3, probably was kind of just like desperate at this point. They just like want to play something, new. Even though there is Diablo 2 Remastered, which in my opinion is just as fucking good. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's kind of depressing to become a fucking Diablo fans nowadays. Batch. I don't know what Blizzard is doing, but whatever they're doing is not good. I just hope that Diablo 4. I mean, most likely Diablo 4 is not gonna be pay to win whatsoever. It's probably it's probably gonna be like something like Diablo 3, or with you know, new content and everything like that. But is it gonna be good? No one can guarantee that, honestly. The initial Indonesian bus. Okay, it's actually good. Wait. Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh my god! Holy shit! Oh my god! Dude, I would die. Yo, that is so fast. Oh my god. Yo! Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh my god! Oh my fucking god. Oh my god, dude. This is pretty accurate actually. Holy shit. Yeah, this guy's... Holy fuck, man. Yeah, they basically drive the bus as if like they have fucking 9 lives like cats. Like, holy shit. Oh my god, dude, watching that's giving me anxiety. Holy shit. Thank you, Gara, for the video. Holy fuck. Yeah, that's actually real though, by the way. That's actually a thing. Like, if you just if you just drive around, usually in the highways, or fucking big cities, you'll find those bus drivers. They don't give a shit, bruh. Counting the passengers. Philippines sort of like that. I mean, it's immediately
So, if you
remember
guys
this.
don't know, this is what the truck looks like. Medyo fancy ano. Wala pang ano tawag dito, wala pang vandalism. Wala pang Ira Loves Michael. Oh, okay, okay. Ayan na, ayan na. Social ba? Ay, oo naman. Okay. Whee! Speed cameras. Ayan na, 30 miles. Ano yan? Number lang yan. Ang galing. Whee! Ano yun? Tumutunog. Speeding violation? I don't care. What do you mean speeding violation? Welcome po. Welcome sa ating sa tour. Ano, ito ay Europe. Mahirap talaga maging OFW sa Europe. Ay, wait lang. Are ko. Wait lang. Are ko. Kailangan talagang magkumayod. Kailangan kumayod. Araw-araw kailangan maggumising sa umaga ng are ko put. Sino na... Ay! Sino nag-hit? Kailangan kumayod para po sa mga pinsan at saka sa mga inaanak. Aray ko po, ina. Sorry po. Mahilig po ako magmura. Read the road signs. Hindi ako marunong magbasa. Saan ba tayo pupunta? Ay! Bastos to ah! Panggain ko to eh. Anong tapo to ah? Inaano ako ah.
Want me to speak like this? Yes, please.
Anong kabastusan yan? Ha? Habunin ko nga bastos na coaching to. Jollibee! Walang Jollibee dito. Oh, ayan, manggain natin. Ay! Beep beep! Mother... Oh. Hi! Oh my god, I think I just crashed the other truck.
Oh, fuck.
Uh-oh. Bilis. Takbo. Ayaw naman magbayad ng insurance. Yung mga anak ko sa Pilipinas, ayaw pa deport. Inaano ko pa yung insurance ng ano, ng anak
I'm
ko.
never traveling there.
Hirap talaga maging Pilipino sa ibang bansa. Alam nyo na yan. Po, isang survivor. Isang OFW po na medyo walang lisensya, pero po kailangan na pera. Kaya na-make na lang po ako ng driver's license. Ano, ayan. Stuck na naman ako. Wee! Ay, wait. Ah! Aray ko! Uy! Aray ko! Wait! Ano okay.
Oh my god, I fucking love this
Oh my
stream.
god. Ay! Aray ko! Hello!
She was about to say putang.
Usog ka nga! Uy! Paano ko usog? Ay, problema. Kasasabi ko nga lang po sa inyong lahat, mahirap talaga maging Pilipino, no? Mas lalo na kapag pinanganak ka sa Pilipinas, hard mode talaga. Ang gising ka, ang init-init. Tapos umaga hanggang gabi yan, mainit.
True.
Tapos mo yung sarili mo. Bakit ang init? Wala ka nang magagawa. Kundi magreklamo. Kasi ganun talaga ang buhay, no? Minsan naman umuulan, pero yung ulan, it's either ambon o bagyo. No, hindi naniniwala sa true love. Naniniwala ba kayo sa driving skills ko? At least doon naniniwala kayo, di ba?
Oh my god. Oh fuck, I love that video. I always come back to it every now and then. Holy shit. Probably the best Millie clip on the internet. Holy shit. Fuck. The way she say oi is like, oi! Holy fuck. Okay, get video. Oh my god, I'm crying. It's so funny because it's so relatable. Southeast Asia, holy shit. Okay, next video, The Plane Ride That Traumatized Me by Squizzy. Oh shit.
Now, I've been on quite a few flights in my lifetime. I've gotten used to the cramped spaces, crying babies, and long layovers. Traveling the world was my dream as a kid, and as an adult, I travel all the time. But after my latest trip, I think I can confidently say that no one on the history of Earth who has flown on a plane has ever had an experience worse than mine. I love food. Do you love food?
Yeah.
Did you know you can get poisoned at any time, any place, by anyone? Every year, an estimated 1 in 6 Americans, which is 48 million people, get sick from food poisoning. So with that all in
Oh
mind,
no.
picture this. I'm coming back from a
Oh my
hectic
God.
3 months of traveling around America, and I'm ready to head back home to Australia. I've just gotten off the first plane, and I've got a 5-hour layover in Dallas, Texas. One of the best states in America.
Texas
I
sucks.
was scrolling through brain rot content to pass the time because 5 hours is a long time to be at an airport, so I'm getting a little bit hungry.
Hello, could I have a chicken salad, please?
Sure. That'll be $30.
Thank you.
After getting my piggy fill from the airport
Delicious.
trough, I decided to...
You'll find
Did
it
you
delayed.
know 3,647 flights were cancelled in 2021? In 2022, that number increased to 33,256. I got
No
compensated
shot.
with a free stay at a hotel though, so not too bad so far. Now, obviously, because
I'll
of the
take that.
delay, I needed to pick up my bag and check it in again for the flight the next day. Easy enough, right? Collect my stuff and sleep at the hotel.
5 hours? No shot.
Hello everyone, can I get your attention? Okay, yeah, the guy who was supposed to be here, the one taking care of your bags, yeah, he just decided not to do that and left.
Nice.
He really is a shit.
Oh
Obviously,
my
I was
God,
a little
Jesus.
pissed. I was holding on to hope though that there was absolutely no way in hell this could get anywhere.
Oh my fucking Jesus. Fuck. Ah.
spent the next 6 hours vomiting, liquid shitting, and crying, not being able to figure out for the life of me where I'd gotten that food poisoning. I was praying that this food poison would go away by the time I had to get on my flight.
Oh god.
Alright, I hope your flight goes well.
The food poisoning did not go away. A full 16 hours of flying were ahead of me, so I called a flight attendant over because I was desperate for some comfier seats and begged them to upgrade me. I didn't even want first class service, I just wanted to lie down because sitting made my insides feel like they were going to explode. Now I'm sure this guy was pretty nice and made sure that I understood why he couldn't do that, but what I heard was this.
Oh.
The flight takes off, the 16-hour torture starts. Every 15 minutes, I had to get up to either vomit or let the liquid that was brewing in my stomach come out of my like a chocolate factory, like a bubbling pure I can't
Nice.
emphasize in burning hot Anyways, I couldn't sleep for the whole flight because I was in pain. Nothing exciting happened, it just hurt.
Sydney! Oh no. No.
So I waddled pathetically to the baggage area. I just wanted to grab my stuff, go home, take a shower, and sleep for the rest of my life.
If you are the passenger that was sitting in seat 54F named Hyojin, that also goes by Squizzy on YouTube and Squizexy on Twitch and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok,
Okay,
please
dude.
make your way to baggage help. Because we basically threw your bags out of the plane before your flight to Sydney. So your luggage is lying somewhere in Texas. We're really incompetent at our fucking job!
Oh my.
Where are your bags?
Oh! I'm sure Texas is probably not that bad, right? 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 That fucking sucks, though. Okay.
I ran a little poll the other day to see which videos
25 more obscurely reviewed Steam games to guess. Oh no. This video. Okay, sure.
I ran a little poll the other day to see which videos of mine, if any, you would like to see a sequel to, and the consensus was you wanted more video games to guess from their weird Steam reviews.
Alright.
Now that was absolutely fine by me, as it's one of my more popular videos, and it alone helped me buy this cat that now bites me at every God-given opportunity. Ow! So,
Nice.
get comfy. Here are 25 more very popular games described in very obscure fashions. Great card game with some open world minigame.
Great card game with some open world minigame. Witcher 3. Yep. Easy.
And then it turned itself into a Mamorpaga. Funniest shit I've ever seen.
And then it turned itself into an MMORPG. Funniest shit I've ever seen. Ooh. This one.
Saints Row's customization demo is dropping on Summer Game Fest. You're gonna try it. No buts. Vietnam AC man waving his gun.
I mean, it's demo, it's free content, sure. Just remind me to download it. Okay, this one's hard. And then it turned itself into an MMORPG. Funniest shit I've ever seen. This one, honestly, I cannot think of any. Skyrim?
You can pronounce it MMORPG if you like. I choose to call it a Mamorpaga before I get crucified for it in the
Mamorpaga.
comments.
Oh shit! Of course, Fallout. It's a fellow Bethesda game. To be fair.
Spent a week giving a girl flowers and buying her beer, and asked her to dance with me, and she said, "Ooh, no." Very realistic.
Sims? Ah shit!
I'm sure I had a social life before. Doesn't matter. Hats.
Oh, this could be two. A Hat Matter or Among Us.
The bosses are so good that you feel honoured to be killed by them.
Dark Souls. Yep.
Dark Souls Australian Edition. Whoa! Out of 10.
Dark Souls Australian Edition? Dark Souls Australian Edition. What kind of Dark Souls Australian Edition? Hollow Knight. Fuck! How is this Dark Souls? Fuck you!
So, due warning, this next review means that I, a 31-year-old man from the south of England who went to an all-boys school, has to try to rap. Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to deliver all logs to where you wanted in one trip, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo, my palms are sweaty, grips weak, trees are heavy, there's wheel spin occurring already, not mad savvy, I'm nervous, but...
Easy. Fucking SnowRunner. No. Was it SnowRunner? Mud Runner?
The track surface looks cool and ready to drive over it, but I keep on forgetting what
Mud-
I've loaded now. The engine goes so loud.
Yeah.
Off my mouth, these words come out. I'm stuck. How? Every wheel's dug in now.
Yeah.
The fuel runs out.
Mud Runner, I
over.
think.
Ow! I'm so sorry, everyone.
Yeah, Mud Runner. Easy.
A nonce chases you while you find out his secrets.
A nonce? What is a nonce? But either way, fucking... What is a nonce? I don't know this one. Okay, there's some English... England stuff. I don't know. British.
The long wait is over. I finally get to dodge 200 lightning strikes in HD.
Dodge 200 lightning strikes in HD? Dark Souls? Wait, no. Lightning strikes? 200 lightning strikes in HD. It's a remaster. It's either Dark Souls 1 remaster or Sekiro. Sekiro's not a remaster though. I'm not sure.
This game made me love the two most hated fonts in history.
This game made me love the two most hated font in history. Okay, that's hard. This game made me love the two most hated fonts in history. It's either... Which game that used Comic Sans? I don't know. Undertale? I don't think so. Is Undertale use Comic Sans? Oh, comics! Motherfucker. Of course.
Top 3 phrases you will say during this game. Move out of my way! I need a... Well, we didn't really establish what the actual swear word these hearts denoted was in the last video. I think we landed on twat. I need a twatting plate! Someone get the rice!
Move out of my way. I need a fucking plate. Someone get the rice. Kitchen simulator? Cooking simulator? No. Overcook? Yeah, Overcook. Okay.
My companion drew a twat in the snow and I laughed really hard.
Snow-related game. My companion drew a dick in the snow. What game where you can draw dicks in snow? I'm actually not sure. That's not snow, motherfucker. Oh wait, I think at the top you do get to the snow, but most of the game are desert. Holy shit, that's hard.
Few reviews all for the same game now. One of my favourite games in history. Like the part where he screams, Sean! Sean! Sean!
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Heavy Rain.
Sean!
Iconic. Yeah.
I can never trust my coffee mugs again.
Coffee mugs. This one's hard. Oh! You are with the raid. Welcome, welcome, Dong Slide. Thank you so much for the raid. How you doing? How's your stream? How's Division 2? What's up? We're just chilling, playing some Guess the Game based on the review right now. How you guys doing? That one games PewDiePie played? What the fuck? PewDiePie played a lot of game back then. Bread? I stopped playing this game. I forgot the enemy can disguise themselves as a fucking item. There.
Thumbs up and recommended. Became a religious military dictatorship that forced its citizens to breed like rabbits so I could force them into weapons factories for profit.
Became a religious military dictatorship that forced its citizens to breed like rabbits so I could force them into weapons factories for profit. No. City Skyline doesn't have that. Factorio? No. I don't know this one. Okay, it's an actual dictatorship simulator. God damn it.
Try. First, get a scalpel. Nigel, that's a pencil. Yes.
Surgeon Simulator. Yep.
Some red guy shot at me, but I needed to pee. So I went to the toilet, peed for a bit, washed my hands, went to the fridge, got a carton of milk, poured myself a glass of milk, went back to my room, dodged the bullet, and then shot him in the head.
Dodged a bullet and shot him in the head. Okay, this one's hard. No idea. Super. Okay, of course. I only played it once.
This Mario game,
of course. All right.
Isn't very good. It's not the same as the normal games. Instead of jumping, it's about running. If you don't like fast games, this isn't for you.
This Mario game isn't very good. It's not the same as the normal game. Instead of jumping about running, if you don't like fast games, isn't for you. Sonic? Yeah, Sonic.
Impale, harpoon, shoot, burn, drop, stab, electrify and drown a little kid without going to jail.
I know this one. One of my favorite. Roller Coaster Tycoon. Oh, fuck! Okay, to be fair, in Roller Coaster Tycoon, you can also do this shit. Well, some. Alright, never mind. Anyway.
We have some very concise quick-fire reviews. Shanties before panties.
Sea of Thieves? Oh, come on!
Makes me moist.
Makes me moist. Subnautica. Oh!
10 out of 10. Great laxative.
Laxative? I have no idea. Oh my god. Damn train. Damn train. Fucking... I don't know. Red Dead Redemption 2? No, it doesn't say damn train. Oh my god. To follow the damn train, CJ. Oh my god, of course. Good one, Magma. Oh, alright. Thank you, Gara.
one might seem impossible, but think about it. It is simply have sex.
Oh, this is hard. Fucking. Dude. Have sex. What game would you write this down? Sims? I don't think. Is there Sims on Steam? I don't think so. Of course.
And lastly, more of an honourable mention than anything else, because if you get this, I don't know how, but the review is, I haven't played much, but it's pretty okay so far.
40k? Okay, this can be anything, but most likely Skyrim.
That is almost 5 solid years.
Oh, okay. Alright. Fair.
Well, there we go, another quarter century of good games described badly. Thank you for playing, and
good video. Once again, thank you, Magma, for the video. Thank you, thank you. That was fun. Actually, I like this kind of stuff. Could do more, could do more. Thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Let me know if there's a new one, as always. Okay. Next video. This one. Thrill got the review product for it.
Should you move around in virtual reality? That seems like a very simple question. I mean, in the real world, we obviously just walk or run or swim naturally. But even in the most advanced of VR simulations, we're stuck to using, for the most part, thumbsticks. And compared to what is possible, this sort of locomotion technique really doesn't make current VR all that different from traditional consoles, just with motion controllers and a screen strapped to your face. But today, we're taking a look at the newest in VR locomotion technology, an omnidirectional treadmill, the Catwalk C2, possibly the future of true VR locomotion. Still unreleased, we get to check out an early unit, and we're gonna see just how much omnidirectional treadmill technology
it's another
has
slide
improved in
base.
just the past year, and see if this thing is
I wonder if
worth
it's actually good.
$2,000+ it costs, and maybe get a little closer to answering the question. Is this actually how we should be moving within virtual reality? So, just last year, I made a video on the very first widely available consumer ODT, or omnidirectional treadmill. And within just a year of the original, Cat VR has already released a significantly improved version with a cheaper price even, adding a ton of features. Also, in my opinion, making the device look significantly better. But let me give a quick background in case you're new to ODTs. Omnidirectional treadmills, by definition, are required to offer one main feature: the ability to walk in any direction for an unlimited distance virtually, while physically remaining practically stationary, which is perfect for VR. You could be in a tiny space physically, but still walk around an entire planet virtually. I should also point out that this isn't a treadmill in the typical sense. Instead, much
It's a
closer to
slide
what I
mill.
like to call a slide mill,
Yeah.
requiring the use of special super slippery shoes and a lubed up friction surface to walk on. And even though only a year has passed since the original version, it feels like this is a device from 3 years in the future, significantly improving in function and
Looks
solving
cool, you will
many
be
of the
tired within
original
an
issues
hour?
I and many others had with
I
the
mean,
first
at first,
one.
yeah,
Well,
obviously.
most of the problems, except the inevitable one. This thing is just big. Shipping and moving a catwalk
that's
is
big.
no
If
small
we can get
feat
used to
in
this,
effort or expense.
it'd be fun.
Yes, it's a VR accessory, but weighing in at 125 pounds and with a footprint of nearly 13 square feet, just learn from my mistakes and be wary of where you build it. Otherwise, you'll be building it, taking it apart, moving it, and building it again, something I've had to do quite a few times just to fit the catwalk through doorways. But positive thing here is that the Catwalk C2 is pretty easy to build, only requiring a couple of tools in 30 to 45 minutes, and you're good to go. But now we can talk about the big improvements.
Okay, okay.
Gone are the multiple sizes of the catwalk. Now, one size fits all as long as you're somewhere close to or within 5'3" and 6'5", using a system where you adjust the device's height according to your own.
That's pretty
Although the maximum
reasonable.
weight capacity is still 288 pounds for the user. But the appearance and new height adjustment are only the beginning of why I'm pumped for this newer iteration. It seems like Cat kind of thought of everything. Simple things like hooks on the device for your controllers and headset, an optional sitting module for seated and standing experiences like No Man's Sky or riding a horse in Skyrim. There's now a dedicated physical calibrate button on the device that works instantly, so you don't have to dive through menus to readjust your orientation. Way better reach, so now you can actually squat down or lean over to grab things, which is more than welcomed. And now, haptic feedback is built into the base of the machine, so the entire Earth can shake underneath you, which I'll get back onto in just a moment because that was kind of...
You cannot do
But I have
research
to
on
say,
it though.
One of the biggest improvements to the original catwalk are the shoes. The last catwalk had a floppy set of IMU
God damn
sensors
it.
to track your feet position and see if you're walking.
Stop
right or
exposing
left.
me.
And they technically did the job, but not perfectly. And if you moved your feet too fast, they'd fly off or get confused, and you were limited to only forward movement, no side to side or backward, which isn't very, I don't know, realistic, I guess. Imagine walking around in real life, but you can only walk forward. Kind of weird. However, for the C2, they used a completely different technology, and it's nothing new, but it's really smart. Instead of only relying on IMU data, the new shoes took the decades-old technology of an optical mouse sensor and just threw it on the bottom of the shoe. It works the exact same way that a mouse does, but for your feet on the ground. It can tell if you're moving forward, back, left, right. It's super simple, but I found it working significantly better. Plus, the new shoes are no longer terrible bowling shoes, now going for more of a budget pair of training shoes. Still not the best, but certainly an improvement. And the last boring technical bit, the Catwalk C and C2 are compatible with just about every VR and Oculus game out there as long as the game has smooth locomotion built in. I even tried games that technically aren't released yet, and every single one of them works. Although, some games probably aren't really worth using the Catwalk for unless you just want to be worse at the game than everyone else, but you can if you want to. Also, any VR headset, Pimax, Index, Vive, Quest 2, and PC VR mode works with all of them. Even PlayStation VR with an adapter, which is awesome. And Cat VR says that they're working on a Quest 2 version to work without a PC at all, although I'd kind of question if you have the money to buy a big VR treadmill, you could probably afford a PC as well, but you know, whatever. Let's just get on to the fun part. What's it like walking within VR with the C2? Well, when I first used a Catwalk C last year, it took me quite a few hours to get the hang of it, falling hysterically over and over again. But this time around, I'm a self-proclaimed catwalk expert. In the meantime, within the past few months, I ran a half marathon in Skyrim VR on the catwalk, something I definitely would not recommend. But this obviously made picking up the newer C2 significantly easier. However, I do still want to talk about the learning curve and whether this even feels realistic. And well, walking on a slide mill in VR is not like walking normally on the Earth. If it's your first time ever on a slide mill, it's probably gonna feel terrible actually. And it's not until walking for maybe hours that you can build up the muscle memory to get the real hang of it. And I think the problem here is that your movement isn't one-to-one exactly translated into game. If a game, for example, has a fixed movement speed, then, well, I could sprint as fast as I possibly can on the catwalk, but still be walking in game, which feels very wrong and completely breaks immersion. In general, things feel really clumsy when using a slide mill until you get really good at it, which just takes practice. Just like riding a bike or ice skating, it's something new to your body and you have to learn it. It's not like using a controller, and it's not as natural as walking, but it does translate the VR locomotion that you would get from using a thumbstick to your legs and body pretty darn well. And this is where the golden games come in. The titles that work perfectly on the catwalk and make using a device like this an experience that you actually can't get anywhere else. If I'm playing a single-player exploration game, let's say No Man's Sky or Skyrim VR, the catwalk turns my experience into something completely new. If there's a mountain way off in the distance and I want to go there, I'm gonna have to actually walk there, and that completely changes the psychology of playing a role-playing game. I mean, have you ever thought it weird that in role-playing games, we control our characters to run miles and miles and miles per day? I didn't really find that weird until I was actually having to physically do that. And that may sound like a massive hassle and like that's a lot of work. And you're right, It is. But if your overall goal of virtual reality is to immerse yourself into a completely different world, to feel like you're actually there, to feel a sense of accomplishment and important in what you're doing within that virtual world, this is a pretty darn good way to do it. Thing is, in gaming, I don't think we really respect the scale of things. And that sense of scale within these worlds feels palatable and very real because there's a physical component to it. I can match my steps to distance. It's harder, it's more difficult, and sometimes not even fun because you're tired and sore, but that's kind of what peak immersion feels like. That's realism. And one of my favorite moments while using the Catwalk C2 was landing my ship in No Man's Sky. Actually feeling the rumble of the engines under my feet due to the new haptic
The haptic
platform,
might be
then
fun.
walking out to gaze over a mountainside, completely losing myself for a moment until I realized that my actual destination was halfway across the planet. And this is where something like the Catwalk changes the game and how I play it. Normally, I wouldn't even think twice about just walking there, but this time, I'd have to actually walk there. So I turned around and hopped back in my ship and just flew there. That sort of sensical practicality just doesn't exist in most of gaming nowadays because there's no real consequence to breaking the rules of scale. Holding W or forward on a thumbstick is no big deal, you could do it for forever. And honestly, walking there would have taken just as long as flying there. But when you have to actually exert yourself physically, I tend to think much more practically, naturally. And to me at least, I feel between the physical exertion, the psychological changes, and the respective scale, this is one of the only ways that you can really feel that. But it doesn't just end at walking or running. In Catwalk's promotional videos, they show swimming, like actual swimming.
Dude.
So, of course, I tried it, and here was my reaction.
This sounded really good on paper. Why would anybody do that?
Dude, that sucks.
Terrible.
And kudos to the Cat VR team. The Catwalk did support my entire weight, but turns out real-world gravity still exists, and swimming in that gravity while suspended from the waist makes swimming incredibly exerting. I've ran for literal miles on the Catwalk, walked for dozens more, but swimming is rough. Still a really cool sensation. I guess try everything once, but I'm not sure if this is the final solution to this specific problem. If my life depended on it, I'd probably end up virtually drowning, just to be honest. And to be real, there are a lot of use cases where I don't think I'm going to be using the Catwalk consistently. Swimming being one of them, but competitive VR games are another. I was significantly more immersed. Believe me, literally running into or away from battle is exhilarating, and if you're only playing for your own enjoyment, well, this is great. But if you're trying to win, you're just at a disadvantage compared to stills.
Well, obviously.
Which brings us to, should everyone have these? Is this really how we'll all walk around within VR in the future? Well, probably not, at least for a while, but I feel like just wondering about whether or not something like this is practical is
cool.
kind of undervaluing what it is and how it affects you. This isn't just a gimmicky device, especially if you use it right. Hopping into VR chat, I found myself running through Hyrule Field, a place I've spent hundreds of hours in since I was a child, and experiencing the scale as naturally as possible for the first time was incredible. My brain firing off chemicals within VR that I've never felt before. Familiarity, but also something completely new. Mixed with the actual physical response of running and getting a dopamine rush, there's nothing quite like it. The Catwalk C2 is big, expensive, and still not perfect, and not for everyone. But the Catwalk does its job, and it accomplishes its goal of bringing us that much closer to the next level of immersion within virtual reality, bringing me into new and old worlds, and, well, making me smile and feel good inside while exploring them. It's a device that makes me feel so small and human within these massive and sprawling virtual worlds, and it gets me excited for the future and for more people to feel the same way I do here. And if you want the most immersion possible, to be challenged, and for probably the first time really respect the scale of the world around you, well, this does that for me. And learning how to walk all over again is just part of the challenge of earning your VR legs again. It's one of those weird pieces of technology that makes me fall in love with VR all over again, just in different ways. Is it worth $1,000?
It looks like he's just leaning over.
That's completely up to you and your budget and how cutting edge you want to be. This isn't for everyone, and there's no way I could possibly recommend recommend this to everyone. But immersion seekers like myself that are willing to put their body and wallet on the line to be 20% more immersed in VR, it just might be for you. But please, just whatever you do, don't skip a meal for this. There are plenty of other alternatives that do very similar things for far cheaper, and you'll still get those brain chemicals rushing. And I could totally see things like this being normal within 10 years. Maybe everyone has one, or you go to one publicly, at least briefly until we all plug into the Matrix. Just joking. Well, I don't know, maybe. I guess we'll have to find that one out together. Either way, I hope that you enjoyed this
video.
I'm really messing around with the catwalk and seeing what sort of things I can do with it. If you did like this, please let me know with
would be real useful for people that want to lose weight and don't want to go out. I guess so. What would if I can get access to this? What would I use it for? Honestly, probably the more simulation-based game, No Man's Sky, that jet. No, what do you call it? The space game that I played a while ago. Whatever that is, like something like a little bit more about simulation. I feel like that would be fun. Like, but if you want to play a game that's just like pure fun, enjoyment, like VR, chat, super hot, or whatever the fuck like that, probably not. Star Citizen? No, the other one. Star Citizen is Garbo. At least right now. I forgot. I played it. Gara recommended me to me. I forgot what it's called though. Okay. I mean, it's a cool technology though. It's one of those tech that kind of like it's not really the final iteration of the version, but in the future it's going to be like, you know, this is the reason that the superior version exists. You know, so like, I mean, you know, if we look back at like the first fucking Oculus iteration headset, it was Garbo. The highest resolution it can do was 720p. I still remember that. Like 480p and then 720p. Like still very, very early iteration. We have to have those kind of device in order to get the better version. So, you know, I'm kind of excited with this kind of thing. That means we kind of like advances in this stuff, which is cool. But yeah, good stuff. Mudahar. It's important info for anyone planning to play Gmod. Who's planning to play Gmod?
Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and how many of you all fire up that old Gary's mod? I know some of y'all be like, that's still a game? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to walk through a story of old-fashioned Goatsy. Now, if you're somebody as old as I am, you probably know what Goatsy is. If you're somebody that's young and you play some Gary's mod with the friends, you know, you're under the age of 8. You're probably 15, 14 or something, like younger, okay? Young. Yeah. You're a young buck. You might not know what Goatsy necessarily is. So today's video is going to be a bit of a shocker. Now, why am I talking about a shock image from the early, from the early days of the internet? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's partially because Gary's mod has a few moderations on it, okay? A few mods that exist on it, you know? Okay. Now, there's a few mods known as Glue Library, Action Extension, View Extension, and Ambient Occlusion. Now, if you had these add-ons on Gary's mod, chances are you were having a pretty fine dandy day. But in the last few days, if you happen to have some of these mods, like Glue Library, you may have noticed that upon logging into your Gary's mod server, you would be given a screamer and an image of Goatsy.
What?
Now, I'm going to start off by basically looking at some of the source code for the Lua files that were part of this mod, okay? Now, over the course of the weekend, a few people thought that they were hacked, okay? The people who were running these mods, you know, the specific users, were hacked. But ladies and gentlemen, let's stop, okay? Because the Lua file is conveniently titled, fuck you. The Lua language is effectively designed to extend a software application's customization, okay? It's basically there to help you moderate or mod games or add things to video games down the line, okay? Modders specifically use this for source engine games, but you'll typically find them across the board for various other titles. Now we're going to start with reading what is in fact fuck you Steam, okay? Let's get started with the diatribe. F you Steam, f you Gary, f you Gabe, I f the Steam moderators of Steam no works, you Steam Workshop,
Okay.
I f your workshop issues,
Okay.
Lua errors, pay me money or die. You stupid pieces of shit. I want you and family died in suffering. I killed your 12 woman. I killed your mother. I killed your guy. I eat my shit and lick my nuts. Now, of course, you probably heard a lot of beeps in there, and the only reason I'm doing it is because YouTube would literally, age restrict this video if I decided to show you. Now, of course, there's a lot of blurs, and I hope to God I'm good at editing this, because if I miss one of these, I'm going to get a slap on my balls by old Susan here, okay? I hope to God that I blurred enough of it, because I don't want to get, like, sniped by the moderation team. But effectively, this Lua file didn't exactly look like it was super duper excited about the idea of Steam. Now, of course, what this moderation would do is effectively, once you logged into the Gary's Mod game, it would give you a screamer and an image of Goatsy. You might be like, Muda, what's Goatsy? Okay,
You don't want to
I'm
know.
just going to get real and graphic with you, okay? Back in the day, there was an image of a person who basically put one finger on this side of the penis, one finger
but you
one
don't.
can look like very, very
You
straight
know,
flaps. Tasty reasons, I'm absolutely...
Trust me, you guys do not want to. You guys don't want to know. If you guys never seen it, just forget about it. Don't worry. As someone who've seen it, you don't want to see it, or you don't want to hear it. You don't want to know it. Trust me.
He's certain it is not medically normal, nor is it...
Okay,
now, of
what?
course, some people thought that this person was hacked initially, but of course, reading that Lua file, there wasn't really any hack going on. More so, the actual creator behind it got so mad at a ban that they received off of Gary's Mod, off of Steam, that they decided to change their mod so much that when people updated it to the current version, they were given fat goatsies across the board.
Very mature.
Now, thank God, so one of our homies on YouTube, Thaf9, was the first person to really discover this. But of course, as soon as I heard about it, I jumped into the situation. And lo and behold, I got a screamer myself. Of course, I'm not going to show you Goatsy on my channel. I don't want a community strike on it, but it is what it is. Of course, even the console would go crazy inside the entire screamer, okay? You would effectively just be getting a lot of hate towards Gabe, okay? Gabe Newell, the CEO of old Valve.
Why?
It would not be a good time. Of course, it wasn't just Goatsy. It would sometimes be anime Neko Cats, for instance, as some people have seen, which is much more lighter than somebody's first time at the Goatsy. I could only imagine there were probably younger kids who were just happening to log on to Gmod after school that day, and all of a sudden they had to see an anus like 6 inches deep.
Oh my God, okay, stop describing.
Of course, even beyond that, there were several images of the old troll face model. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like dinosaurs are playing Gary's Mod when I see the troll face brought back on. But apparently SpongeBob's voice, and I didn't hear this, but you can hear slurs said by SpongeBob, okay? Apparently all these hacks are running around rampant. So yes, if you're somebody that's playing Gary's Mod and you've experienced this, don't be surprised, okay? Things aren't exactly too good on the Gmod front. And if you haven't seen it yet, good job. Log off for a couple of weeks, play Payday 2, and come back when things are a little more halal on the days of Gary's Mod. Now, of course, for those of you who want to use things like Glue Library, there's been an amount of developers that are out there finding old versions of the actual tool and have been uploading it for people to utilize these add-ons without the threat of 6-inch anuses appearing all over the
bro.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wild story, and it's something that, frankly, makes me giggle a little bit inside. The fact that somebody got banned, apparently, and they got so ass mad that they touched upon all their hard work for moderations and just flooded it with pictures of Goatsy. It's like both nostalgic to me because I remember it from the old internet, but the fact that there's so many new waves of people who have just logged on to Gary's Mod who have never seen what Goatsy looks like now have to witness this is absolutely shocking and in some ways hilarious. And it's kind of like new people of the internet have finally discovered what made the old internet so wild and wacky indeed. And I'm thanking God that there wasn't a GIF or a video file of like one man, one jar. That would have been truly traumatizing. season.
Yeah.
But yeah, Goatsy managed to make waves again after decades, basically, at this point, into Gary's mod. All because one moderator got so ass mad they got banned by Steam, by Valve, that they decided to flood their hard work with pictures of 6-inch deepened anuses. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a wild world indeed. No, nobody was hacked. This is just pure unbridled rage kicking at its effect. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
Dude, why? It's what? I don't understand why. Huh? Why? I don't. Is this? Oh, I'm banned on Steam. My account got banned. I have a very reputational mod that a lot of people use, that a lot of people respected it. What I would do is fucking put a screamer on it, because that's funny, guys. Haha. Dude, it's not the end of the world that you got banned on Steam. It's what? There's other website. There's ModDB. Like, just make a new account. I don't know, bro. Like, the fuck, chat. It's a good info though. Good job. Saints. You can put it. You can actually put this. Maybe not the video. I mean, sure. You can share Mudahar, but do if we want to share, do put like a little bit of warning, considering you might have some potential people just gonna get jump scared. Yeah, I kind of want to do it. Raku, don't. Don't, Raku, don't. You don't want to do it, man. Have you seen it though? By the way, that particular Goatsy. But hey, what's up? How you doing, man? But yeah, if you never seen it, trust me. Trust me. I know you're curious and everything, but trust me. You would thank me for never have to witness it. Just I start. Okay. You know, at least it's not a video. It's, you don't want to see it, man. You want to see it. Fuck. Damn. Do what? Picture on the right? No, that's my drawing, dumbass. Oh, by the way, I drew this. If you guys just got here. Attempted to do Rhea in Evangelion plug suit. My brain got tired drawing symmetrical stuff, so I kind of take a rest. Probably gonna continue it tomorrow or something. But yeah, this is a little bit challenging bits for me. So yeah, that's what I did. I'm doing fine. Trying to fix my schedule. How about you? Oh, sleep schedule. Tell me about it. I'm chilling. Thank you for asking. Apologies for sending this channel, but dude, why? What is that? I see Blythe though. This dude got plugged, alright. Okay, come on.
Hello, I'm Scott Arthur, and I play Blythe. So you pronounce it Blythe.
Blythe.
Not Blythe. Blythe. He's upright.
Blythe.
And he has the head of a wolf. I know that he's caused quite a stir in the furry world, which I didn't know anything about until I looked on the internet. Let's read your tweets.
Oh no. No, why Twitter? No, dude. Dude. Oh no. No, I don't. Oh no. I already know what's gonna. Oh no. You really gotta do this to me, huh? Just because I do like Blythe. Oh my god.
Let me go talk to my wolf boyfriend, because honest to God, with that voice, even I would in.
Oh my
Thank
god.
you very much. Would Blythe Elden Ring be considered a DILF? Be honest.
Oh,
All right, I'll take it. Blythe the DILF. Blythe is so thick and hot. Blythe was created by someone else in terms of the visionary of Blythe, the vision of him, the artwork. I'm taking all these compliments and I'm just gonna go with it. Please make more sexy animal men. Sakes, please.
No, that's not fuck's sake. That's From Software.
Listen, Miyazaki, that is a
But sure.
request. Not only did they make Blythe a sexy half wolf man, they gave him a sexy voice.
That's a good voice.
Much. I want Blythe to kiss me on the lips and
Oh
tell
my
me that we make
God.
a great team. And I want him to pick me up and carry me to his little wolf hovel.
Oh my
Hovel? Hovel? Did I say it
Hovel.
right?
Hovel.
This is for you. We make a great team. When's the Elden Ring dating sim coming? So I can with Blythe. It's a dating sim. Simulator. Oh, right. There's some money to be made on that.
True.
These tweets are brilliant, by the way. I've got a huge smile on my face. I'm not a furry, but I do find Blythe. I mean, I'm not a furry, and I find you quite hot.
Oh.
What's the point of Elden Ring if I can't ever have my tarnished kiss Blythe with tongue?
Whoa. Okay.
Goodness me. Half-Wolf Blythe, the bestest boy in Elden Ring.
Okay,
He's a
that's-
very good boy.
That's
Can
good.
be a naughty boy though as well, if you like.
Okay, bro.
Blythe is by far the coolest character in Elden Ring, and he's Welsh as die.
True.
For any Americans that are watching this, or anyone that's not from the UK, die is basically a slang word or a nickname for anyone called David. Elden Ring
Take notes.
is actually a 0 out of 10 because you can't Blythe. What would it be out of 10 if you could Blythe? No, no way, absolutely not. I'm not reading that. Elden Ring
What?
makes me feel normal. I want to kiss Blythe, the half-wolf, under the full
Wait,
moon.
that was Bao's tweet? Wait, can someone link it? I'm curious. Dude, I know Bao is fucking degen as fuck. But the fact that he...
No way, absolutely not.
Is she the cop? Just your average Elden Ring fan. Oh no. What did she write? Does anyone have the tweet? No, I'm just kind of curious. Oh no. He writes it on this cameo? Oh no, he read it? Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna cringe. Oh no, am I gonna cringe? Oh no, dude, I can't. Wait, why did it not load? What kind of tweet that he cannot even read? Lower volume? Oh yeah, don't worry, I know Bell.
Strangely familiar, and I just happened to come across it while I was
Hold up.
this video. I'm actually gonna cry. Okay, wait. I really appreciate it. Okay. I'm just.
Who goes?
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear it? Can you hear that? Can you hear it?
Okay.
Okay.
Who goes there? Wow.
Okay, sorry.
Good to see you. The name's Blythe.
Okay, honestly, if Venti voice actor also do this, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm just gonna be honest here. I'm just gonna let it out there. I can relate to this. If you're, you know. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm looking for a Oh, you've got a tweet for me to.
Wait. Oh my god, no, wait.
I want Blythe to breed me.
Oh my god. No.
I want his puppies, please.
Oh, oh my god.
I want the leash. I want the collar. I'm drooling. Woof. Woof.
Oh no. No! Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, oh my god. Ah, shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. He actually.
I can't keep watching this. Oh my god, my face is so red. I can't. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That was a degen. She's a fellow degen, so.
Okay. I'm gonna start.
Wow. What can I say, Bao? I'm ready when you are.
Oh no. Oh, he understood the. Oh no. Man. He understood the mission. He understood it. Can he deliver? Now that is a good cameo. He understood.
Hello?
Was that it? Was that a... Oh my god, dude. Listen. Oh my fucking god. I mean, listen. Like but honestly, I can kind of understand, right? Like, if my favorite voice actor of a favorite character, like if I'm in Bao's place, right? But with like my favorite voice actor, I probably would go nuts. I mean, I would die. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, you know. Does anyone know if a Venti voice actor have a cameo or something? I don't know. Anyway, back to the video.
I'm not reading that. Elden Ring makes me feel normal. I want to kiss Blythe, the half-wolf, under the full moon. Normal feelings. God, it's like a line of poetry.
They got a good voice, though.
I could read these all day. I'm having a great time. I've spent hundreds upon hundreds of hours of my life in Elden Ring trying to figure out how to make Blythe hug me and kiss me, but there seems to be just no way. Did I waste my money? Here's a kiss for you. Maybe there needs to be a version of Elden Ring where you can kiss all the characters. How did I feel reading those tweets? Warm, aroused, comforted, and very loved. Thank you to everyone who has shown the love and the holiness for Blythe. Thank you very much, Diolch yn fawr, for watching. If you enjoyed, then please subscribe below. That's enough chit-chat for now. It's time we parted ways, you filthy animals.
He is so... He understood the assignment. He know what he's going. He know what he's getting into. He understand. You know what? Good actor. Actually good actor. He understand. I'll give him that. Actually good actor. God bless him. Hopefully he get more cool voice acting job in the future. Good shit. Oh man. The Bao's won, dude. What the fuck? Okay, hold up. Was there a fucking... Oh, did I close it? Wait. I actually want to kind of like read the tweet. I kind of want to see the whole sentence. Is it this one? Usually in the fucking description. The big W tweet. Oh, this is the video. Dude, this dude? I'm actually kind of curious. She got another cameo from him? Oh my god. Dude. What the fuck? Oh, this one. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna okay, yeah, I am not reading that. Alright, anyways. Holy shit. I can relate to her though, to be fair. Alright, anyway. Next video, PC gaming in 2022 meme. Oh, a meme. Check it out. True? That's me. Get fucked. No, I'm kidding. Can tell trying to release ARC GPU. True. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Not quite there. Oh no. GT710. Holy shit. Whoever still have GT710 in 2022, dude, fucking salute to you, sir. Holy shit. Oh yeah, Sue. Oh my god, good stuff though. Good stuff. And that is all the videos from today. That was good stuff. It was good stuff. Oh man. Wish Venti's voice actor have a cameo. Alright, anyway, what? Check what I've sent to music. We made the Metal Gear Rising OST as heavy as Doom Eternal.
My name is in the credits of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. There it is, right there.
Oh shit!
My legal name. So I guess also, surprise number 2, Day, is a stage name. I just thought it would be easier for people. Anyway, before you listen to the cover, I want to tell you a story about how a sleep-deprived, college-aged me ended up in the credits for a game that I mostly forgot about, but now in some ridiculous coincidence is the most requested game you folks put in my YouTube comments, and in Little V's comments, and in Rashad's comments, and in Jules's comments. And now I guess all we need is Toxic Eternity and Johnny Atma and Jonathan Young to do a cover.
Okay, I kind of just want to listen. Let's check it out.
Hope you enjoy it.
There will be blood. Ooh, that's a fat bass. Oh. It's actually one of the best music in the game. There will be blood. Is that the original vocalist? It sounds so similar. God damn. I gotta still play this game. Oh, dude, it's so good. I just finished it last night, actually. Yesterday's stream. It's so good. Game's ahead of its time. Just make sure you don't alt tap. I think as long as you don't stream, I think it's fine. But if you stream, basically every time you alt tap, it's gonna kill the GPU NVIDIA encoder in your OBS, and it crashes my stream like 6 times yesterday. So yeah, kinda interesting. It just kind of baffles me that this game is from 2013. It does not feel like a 2013 game. I'm gonna be honest. It feels like at least 2015. It's crazy. There will be. You know, my PC is a bit dying because I gotta reinstall Windows. Yeah, you said about it. Yeah. Unfortunate, man. Do it up, and give this game a try. Even if you already seen the spoiler and everything, the gameplay is pure fun. Honestly, doing all the combos, deflecting all the attacks, it feels so nice. The boss fights also really fun as well. Especially the final boss. Armstrong is a fun boss. Honestly. It's a remake where not everything is diarrhea brown. We'll never...
Army of commenters. Did this meet your...
We'll never gonna get a remake, honestly. I mean, it's Konami. You guys know, it's Konami, chat. We're never gonna get a fucking remake. It's never gonna happen. Play MGS5. It's open world. He said gonna play yesterday. Yeah, I would give the prologue a try. Sure. Well, no, Red's not gonna play it after one session. Wait, how long is the fucking prologue? Hold up. MGS Ground Zeroes. HLTB. 2 hours? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely doable. Damn, the prologue is 2 hours? Interesting. And the main game is 50 hours. Yeah, the main game, I don't know if I will ever gonna beat it. I will give it a try. The prologue is gonna be the determination if I'm gonna play the main game or not. Or at least give it a try, you know. Phantom Pain prologue, not Ground Zero. No, yeah, Ground Zero is the prologue of Phantom Pain, right? Like, Ground Zeroes is like what happened before Phantom Pain. No? Wait, Phantom Pain is the prologue of Ground Zero? So Ground Zero is like the ending of Phantom Pain? No? Phantom Pain has their own prologue? What the fuck is Ground Zeroes then? What? I'm confused. Is it like a prologue of a prologue? It really explains Phantom Pain's ending. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like a Western movie where it's like at the intro of the movie, it kind of shows like the end of the fights, like you'll die here, protagonist, and it'll do a fucking rewind, and then to the start of the game, something like that, I would assume. Okay, no more spoiler, no more spoiler. We'll never know if I ever if I actually happen to like Phantom Pain, I can finish it. It just need to be really good, you know. And it's Kojima we're talking about here. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? Elden Ring, 100 hours. Fucking Cyberpunk, 48 hours. What else? What is a long ass game that I finished recently? You can play it if you do only main story, no problem reaching second part. You can see you're not liking it. It's a speedrun game. What do you mean? Your sentence doesn't make sense. If it's a speedrun game, I would love it. Excuse me? That sentence does not make sense. It works the other way around, sir. Okay, that was Riag Andy though. I cannot see you liking it. Oh, not liking it. Okay, motherfucker. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. We will see though. Stealth is actually one of my weakness in terms of like gaming, in terms of like game genre. So I can see myself not liking it because I'm frustrated of the stealth system. Remember Prey? I dropped it live because I got so frustrated of the stealth mechanic. I just get like, fuck this game. I also dropped Dishonored too because of the same thing. So if it's a stealth game in terms of like something like that, there is a chance that I might drop it. I'm not too sure. No promises. Alright. No promises. Alright. Now. Let's do some gaming. Now the question is, what should we play today? Let me just save this real quick. Man, this is what I draw for today. Oh my god. Not really done, not really finished. But it's a fun project. It's a fun project. Rhea in Evangelion plug suit. Her booba is literally in the way. It's really hard to draw this. I remember Dishonored 1, I just kill everyone with barely some stealth. Yeah, the alternate ending stuff, right? Yeah. What's that, Gar? Escape from Tarkov Arena? Okay, hello? What is this? Whoa. Is it like some kind of a deathmatch alternative mode, game mode? Ooh, is this a reason for me to come back? Is the game's finally playable for me? Oh no, the subtitle. Oh shit, this is fun. I mean, we'll see, I guess, but I'm down to try this. I bet the performance is better because of a much more enclosed area. Shutka. Seems cool. When are they gonna release this? A standalone? Whoa. Free owners of the EOD pack. Let's go! For all the other version of EFT, the arena will be paid and also can purchase separately without buying the main game. EFT Arena closed testing is scheduled to start at autumn 2022. Autumn is when? September? I think? I don't know. I don't have autumn here, man. Sag. Alright. That's cool. I'm down. Seems fun. I mean, hopefully by that time I already upgrade my GPU. Should be. But, yeah. Cool. Murder Hobo Gang. Dude, fuck endings when you gotta do the no killing anyway. I don't remember what ending did I get first time Dishonored 1. I'm pretty sure there's like something in between because I remember I do a lot of killings as well. And I didn't know that you have to do no killing. But I do like to like play full stealth as much as I can. It kind of feels cool. Like, you know, Mission Impossible style. But I do remember I do a lot of killings as well. You gaming tonight? Yes, sir. What should we play, chat? What should we play? Like when an ending requires you to save some people or do some good action, but when they fuck you over for one kill, fuck that. I think Dishonored doesn't do that. You get a bad ending if you kill too much, but if you kill just some, I think they still allow you to get a good ending. I think there's some meter, if I'm not wrong. So if you kill a lot of people and it get passed to a certain threshold of the bar, then you'll get trigger the bad ending. So it actually takes a lot of killings to get the bad ending. If I'm not wrong, I forgot. Because I remember when Dishonored came out for the first time, a lot of YouTuber make a video of how cool the concept is. Like, the ending's determined by how fucking chaotic you are, basically. Which is cool. Does Red ever games? We're gonna play some games. Dishonored has a limit, and even where you kill matters. Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, I feel like it's impossible to play that game without killing. I mean, it's possible, but it's gonna be like a challenge. 100%. It's like a speed run kind of thingy. Yeah. Sorry. Oof. Okay. You guys really want me to try Metal Gear Solid, huh? Let me check. Metal Gear. Okay, I do have it installed. Oh boy, okay. Alright, let's give it a try. Again, I mean, I do hope I can like this game. But I'm not gonna promise anything, okay? Alright. MGS5. First time. First time Pogyu. MGS5 0 death first time. Fastest time. Yeah, there we go. I'm not gonna type in speedrun because people are gonna click on the channel and actually legit thought I'm gonna speedrun the game. Like, wait, this is not speedrunning. Oh, wait, what's the meme again? Wait, this is not Super Smash. This is hot sex. Oh, it's the dumbest meme. Oh, ow, fuck. Alright, I don't know how heavy this game is gonna be. I alt tap and it didn't crash. Pog. Oh, anal sex, right? Whoa! Metal Gear Solid 5 Round 0. Holy shit! Snake is looking hot. Wait, hold up. I got a better I got a better title. Something is solid, and it's not Metal Gear. Thank you, Akila. You're the best. You're the best. Title is sponsored by Akila. Don't worry. I got you, brother. I got you. Okay, let me make sure. Graphics. Marker. What the fuck? Okay, this is not graphic. Oh, this is display. Graphic settings. Borderless. Is there no full screen? Okay, full screen. Frame rate. Auto. Model. High. I'll just do that, sure. Okay. I hope the full screen does not crash the game. Oh, I did have... Wait. Let's just delete save data. Because I remember I used to just literally try the game just in case I can run it or not back in the day. Alright, cool. Game start. Normal. I cannot choose hard. Oh, it's one of those games where you cannot choose difficulty. Rescue Mother Base member Chico and a high value target passed from US Naval Prison Facility and escape the mission area by chopper. Right, audio clips. Oh! Cassette tapes? Oh no, backstory. Is that what you mean? Alright. I mean, okay. Oh my god, it's not animated. I have to read all these? Okay. Hold up, I need water for this. There lived a man who was a legend among mercenaries. A man who put together a formidable unit of soldier fortune, long before the advent of private military companies that dared to call itself a nation. A man who, with his nation at his back, made an enemy of modern capitalist society and the world. This is his story. Known by codenames such as Snake and later Big Boss, he proved himself as an agent of US Special Forces Unit Fox, but a certain incident spurred him to part ways with his military, and he is said to have roamed the world's war zone as a gun for hire. In 1974, Snake and his partner, Kazuhira Miller, were running a small mercenary outfit in Colombia when they were visited by a man claiming to be a professor from Costa Rica's University for Peace. According to his professor, there had been several incidents involving a mysterious armed group in Costa Rica, a country without a military of its own. The professor was accompanied by one of his students, a girl named Paz, who had been abducted and assaulted by this group. This professor and Paz offered to hire Snake to drive the group out of Costa Rica. However, Snake saw through their deception in an instant. The professor was actually a KGB agent and an armed group in question begun by the CIA. The Cold War was no stranger to such an overseas clandestine operation between the US and the Soviet agents, but the CIA's motives were a mystery. Paz has escaped from one of the CIA group's facilities with a cassette tape. On it was the voice of a woman known as the Mother of Special Forces, the Boss. With a popular song from the 1973 playing in the background, it was reasonable to conclude that the recording was made recently. Snake was stunned. The Boss was supposed to be dead. What was she doing in Costa Rica? The Boss was Snake's mentor, the only woman he ever loved. But 10 years prior, Snake was forced to take in the Boss' life as a part of a mission. A bitter memory that still haunted him. Despite realizing that she simply could not have survived, Snake was unable to turn the professor down. Telling himself he was intervening as a deterrent for a defenseless country, as well as to honor the virtue of Paz's name, peace, Snake departed for Costa Rica. Once there, he ran into a unit of the Sandinista National Liberation Front that had fled Nicaragua. After rising up against the pro-American Somoza regime, this rebel had become targets for the CIA group, who killed their commandant and left the unit in shambles. Snake rescued the Sandinistas and invited them back to the mother base, the new offshore base of operation provided to them by the KGB. They fallen Commandant Children's, Amanda and Chico, saw something that the hero Che Guevara in Snake, and grew into idolize him. This triggered a rapid expansion of Snake's forces. However, he was still no closer to discovering what the CIA was really up to in Costa Rica. Snake then encountered Huey, a wheelchair-bound scientist being forced to work for the CIA. Huey revealed that the CIA terrifying a plot. They were developing a system by which, following radar detection of an enemy nuclear launch, an AI would analyze all available data and automatically execute a retaliatory nuclear strike at appropriate targets. English, fuck. Although designed to increase the power of nuclear deterrence, Coldman, the CIA Central American Station chief, planned to actually launch a nuke to demonstrate the effectiveness of automated retaliation. This demonstration was only 5 days away. Snake rushed to the development lab to stop the AI from being completed. Jesus Christ, this is actually long. Metal Gear. Let me just skip a couple pages. Meanwhile, Mother Base took in Paz, already an orphan but now left without even her KGB benefactor following the end of the crisis. However, this was all engineered by an intelligence agency known as Cypher. Blah, blah, blah. It revealed a young girl torn between serving Cypher and following her heart. It was not long ago before a radio message from Chico Radio from Mother Base saying he too had been captured. With an idea as to Cypher's true identity, Snake could not allow what Chico and Paz knew to fall into their hands. Furthermore, if he could rescue Paz, he might be able to get information from her that would help him fight back against Cypher. On the eve of the nuclear inspection, Snake made the decision to leave for Cuba. Oh shit. That actually kinda, almost not really, but kinda summarized some of the stories in the game. God damn. Or in the series. Alright, audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test. Can you guys hear me? If you guys can hear me, audio test before I restart the stream again. Audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test, audio test. Oh no, no audio, isn't it? Audio test, ding dong. Hello? Hello? Wait, am I not live? There's no audio, isn't it?